Medusa Steel Coaster is the Rocky Mountain construction hybrid coaster at Six Flags Mexico. This is the only ride of its kind in Latin America and is a fantastic experience, if you get to experience it in peak form. This is something I was not able to do in my first 2 visits to Six Flags Mexico, but I was finally able to ride this coaster at full power in my recent trip, and it definitely moved up my RMC rankings. I'll explain why in this review. When Reino Aventura was transformed into Six Flags Mexico for the 2000 season, the park received 13 new rides, including a custom Coasters International wood coaster named Medusa. This ride had a unique layout, but it received a lot of criticism for roughness and pacing issues. In 2011, Six Flags Over Texas opened New Texas Giant. This was the prototype Rocky Mountain construction iBox coaster. RMC took an old wood coaster and breathed brand new life into it. The ride was transformed into a hybrid coaster with steel track and new elements loaded with ejector airtime. This ride was extremely well received by parkgoers and coaster enthusiasts alike, so Six Flags looked for other RMC candidates throughout the chain. Medusa had received some RMC topper track in 2012. While this made a few parts of the ride smoother, this did not solve the overall roughness issue or pacing problems. In summer 2013, Six Flags Mexico closed Medusa, and just a few months later, they announced it would reopen in 2014 as Medusa Steel Coaster. For the sake of clarity, I want to note that anytime I say Medusa from this point forward in the review, I am referring to Medusa Steel Coaster unless otherwise noted. Most RMC conversions have come with height increases. Medusa is interestingly 7 feet shorter than the old wood coaster. Despite having a similar overall track length, the Steel Coaster is significantly better pacing. It navigates the layout roughly 15 seconds faster. Medusa also opened the most inversions of any hybrid coaster at the time with 3. This included the world's first barrel roll down drop, which replaced the ride's old first drop. RMC has since used this on coasters like King's Dominion's Twisted Timbers and Kentucky Kingdom's Storm Chaser. Medusa is one of the first coasters you see as you enter Six Flags Mexico. You enter this park at the bottom of a hill, but Medusa's lift hill is perched atop a hill adjacent to the main entrance, so this ride looks absolutely monstrous. However, Medusa's entrance is actually pretty far into the park. You have to walk all the way up the hill and then go through 2 other areas to reach Pueblo Vaquero, or Cowboy Village. This is a western-themed area, and Medusa is located at the end of the street. The ride is a great entrance sign. You have the ride's name in big bold letters. Then you have a steel bust of Medusa extending outwards. I also love this ride's queue line. The ride's backstory is that you have the Medusa Mining Company. The queue line starts off with a rocky cave. This leads to a wooden shed for the mine workers with all sorts of paraphernalia. But there's also a picture of Medusa herself on the wall. This is great on its own, but it is also a crooked house. This was once a standalone attraction named La Cabana del Tío Chueco, but it was incorporated in Medusa's queue line after the RMC conversion. This is a pretty treacherous crooked house, to be honest. It is exceedingly easy to stumble and lose your balance here if you're not holding on, especially if it rains and the floor gets slippery, but I really like how quirky it is. You don't get any theming beyond this one part of the queue line, but it's still a welcome addition to the overall experience. At the end of this, you go left if you have the Flash Pass Skip the Line system, or you go right for Standby. That standby line is long as it wraps all the way around the perimeter of the ride. This part offers some spectacular views of the ride from a variety of different angles. Honestly, this offers the best shots of the ride if you're a photographer. And it's impossible not to be impressed seeing this ride fly by. It looks way faster than its posted 58 mph or 93 km/h top speed. While the elements look great, the ride's rails could use a fresh coat of paint though. They were once a bright orange-red, but now they're a very faded red. The end of the queue line is a tight series of switchbacks adjacent to the station. From my experience, this is where the queue line usually will start. But I have seen this ride with a full queue, and when this happened, it had a posted 180-minute wait. Usually the wait is much shorter than that, but this is one of the park's most popular rides, and it regularly has a 30 to 45-minute wait daily at minimum. Flash Pass is the most efficient way to get on this coaster, but the ride typically has a short wait during the first and last hour. Now I need to talk about this ride's operations. There are some pros and cons to how this ride is run. In terms of dispatch speeds, Medusa is one of the fastest loading RMCs out there. This ride is always very well staffed. I have seen, no exaggeration, 8 different employees checking restraints in this ride in the past. But usually they'll have 4 employees, and then they move very quickly as well. The crew almost always rolls trains, which is pretty hard to do in an RMC. Per usual, the employees need to check the seatbelts before lowering the lap bars, which makes their efficiency all the more impressive. This ride has the U-shaped lap bars and shin guards found in most RMCs. I like these restraints, but I know taller guests find the shin guards get too close to you and they can be uncomfortable, and you will not get any room here. All attendants at Six Flags Mexico will aggressively staple you. I don't mind too much because the airtime is strong enough to overcome that, and I don't find RMC restraints painful, but I know this policy could severely hurt the experience for some. And a word of warning if you're on the smaller or skinnier side, you may not even be able to ride. If the lap bar is not firmly in contact with your thigh, they will not allow you to ride. The employees will slide a hand in between your leg and lap bar to verify if there's any doubt. I saw several small kids and especially teenage girls who met the height limit, but they were turned away because there was a gap between their leg and the lap bar. If there's any doubt, there is usually an employee by the test seat at the main entrance who will perform this check for you. Usually, you can pick any row you'd like. The employee at the merge point lets enough people into the station to fill 4 to 5 trains worth. But if this ride has little to no line, the employees will strictly assign seats front to back, no exceptions. They will not let you wait for a row or request one further back. There is also a chance if you're a single rider that you will be asked to move. This is because the park prioritizes total throughput to a fault. If the operators realize you're a single rider, they often ask you to pair up with another guest. There were 2 rides where I waited extra for the front or back, but I was instead told I had to fill an empty seat elsewhere on the prior train. Fortunately, there is not a bad row on this coaster. The front and back car do offer slightly better experiences though. The front has the better laterals and superior sense of speed, but I think the airtime is a bit better in the rear rows. I mentioned at the start that I never experienced Medusa in peak form in my prior visits. In 2017, the ride operated with virtual reality headsets. As with the other coasters in the Six Flags chain that received this quote-unquote upgrade, it was an operational disaster. The ride's capacity was severely impacted as dispatches took far longer. The ride itself was also neutered. The steel wheels were replaced by polyurethane wheels that slowed the coaster down. When I went to the park for the first time in 2018, the ride no longer had VR, but it still had the polyurethane wheels. When I returned to the park in 2019, the ride was once again running faster steel wheels. But I had another issue. The ride was running a shortened Frankentrain. What do I mean by that? Well, usually Medusa has 2 trains, one red and one orange. Each normally has 6 cars, seating a max of 24 riders per cycle. But at this park, you may get a shorter train during quieter periods. When most parks perform train teardowns, they usually will tear down one train entirely and have the other one operate normally. Six Flags Mexico has been known to run this coaster with a shorter 5-car train created by mixing and matching cars from each train. You can very visibly see the mix of red and orange in the train. So while Medusa was better than my 2018 rides, it was still missing that extra car. So I didn't get the maximum whip in the drops, and the ride lost some momentum towards the very end. I really liked the ride, but it was still towards the bottom of my RMC rankings. I visited during the busy Christmas and the park season, and this ride finally ran as intended. Steel wheels in a 6-car train, and it moved up mightily. In these conditions, it is closer to a mid-tier RMC for me. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and ascend the 10-story tall lift hill. And this is a pretty fast lift hill for an RMC. Because of this ride's placement, you get a stunning view from the top. You can see the park off to your right. Then you have the mountains and skyscrapers of Mexico City in the distance. You then have a small dip and a 180-degree turn left. This seamlessly transitions into a barrel roll down drop. This elongated inversion offers good hang time, especially in the front because you sort of lean forwards while you wait for the rest of the train to catch up. You also have some great visuals with the mess of wooden supports enveloping you. As fun as this element is though, I do miss having a traditional first drop. These are one of my favorite parts of any RMC. I like how some other RMCs have incorporated the barrel roll down drops later in the ride. Examples include the death roll on Iron Gwazi and the exit of the reverse Cobra roll on Twisted Cyclone. The pullout goes low to the ground. Medusa Steel Coaster as a whole is a very smooth ride, which is what you'd expect from an RMC, but this valley has a very noticeable shake to it, particularly towards the back of the train if you're in a wheel seat. You then whip around a speed turn that banks right. It's not too forceful, but it is very fast. You then jump upwards into a large turnaround. The entry is so sharp that everyone gets strong ejector airtime. It is particularly powerful in the front car though. You then bank right and you have a sharp drop downwards. This drop is profiled beautifully. It fluidly rotates you from right to left. And it also offers some great airtime. It delivers an okay pop of ejector airtime in front, but it gets significantly stronger further back in the train. You really get launched skywards in the rear rows. Next comes a speed turn left. It is similar to the first one, fast but not too forceful. You then enter another turnaround. This one doesn't level off at the top like the prior one. Instead, it sharply banks left at the top. This delivers an extremely strong lateral jolt, especially in the front car. Without pausing, you have another large drop. This delivers another nice pop of airtime in the front, but it's exceptional in the back cars. It is the single strongest airtime moment on the ride. This is an extremely abrupt and intense ejector airtime moment. It is one of the better drops, excluding first drops on an RMC. It has a lot of power, and the pullout has some great head choppers of supports overhead as a bonus. Next is a wave turn that banks left into the supports of the first turnaround. You have several near misses and nice forces. You get good ejector airtime and lateral simultaneously towards the front of the train. These are a bit weaker towards the back of the train, but still very much present. You then fly through a 0G roll, but it sort of feels like a smaller version of the barrel roll down drop because it angles you back down to the ground. You get sweet hang time throughout the train. This 0G roll rotates you counterclockwise. The following turn then rotates you in the opposite direction. The sudden directional change delivers a good lateral kink, and this pullout also has nice positive Gs as well. This is the one section of the ride that breaks away from the main course. You find yourself surrounded by trees all of a sudden in the woods. It's a pretty surprising change in visuals. You then have this sizable off-axis bunny hill. This is one of the best airtime moments on the ride. It delivers intense ejector airtime for all. This hill slightly banks you left at the apex, and the pullout twists you right. This again causes a nice lateral jolt along with some fine positive Gs. This continues on a quick bank turn right. Good speed, but no notable force. Then you return to the main layout with this large camelback. This is the most sustained bit of negative Gs on the ride. It's not quite as powerful as the moments earlier in the ride, but it's still decent ejector airtime in terms of strength. You then have another speed turn left, but this one is less banking than the ones earlier in the ride, so it offers some okay laterals this time around. You then have another turnaround. The entry is similar to the second one. You sharply bank left as you rise upwards, so everyone gets some notable laterals. They're very strong in the front because the train is pushed into it, but it's still solid in the back, and there are a lot of head choppers to enhance the speed. Then comes an elongated barrel roll. This is my favorite of the ride's 3 inversions. It offers a few seconds of hang time. Off-ride, the train is actually moving at a solid clip, but it feels much slower in a good way as you slowly rotate around the supports on-ride. This inversion rotates you clockwise, and the following turn abruptly throws you left. This again offers a sharp lateral jolt because it counteracts the direction of the prior element. I love how Medusa does this. You then sharply jump upwards on the final brake run. This delivers a very strong jolt of ejector airtime for all, especially in the front car. You then come to a stop and slowly return to the station, ending the 3,000-foot or 910-meter-long coaster. And not one foot of this ride is dull. It is a very fast and furious ride. So, what would I rate Medusa Steel Coaster? I am going to give this ride a 9.25 out of 10. Let me explain. The version I experienced in late 2023 gets a 9.5 out of 10. It was a fantastic ride with breakneck pacing. The ride has no shortage of ejector airtime, wild laterals, and some sweet hang time. The layout has some more variety than your standard RMC. I love how much character the directional changes have here. The only real cons here are the stapling, and the other is a personal preference thing. I would have rathered see a traditional first drop over the barrel roll down drop. Now it is possible to get a version of this coaster that is weaker than I described. I do not believe the polyurethane wheels will ever return, but I believe this park still runs 5-car trains in the quieter months. This version is closer to a 9. It is still a great ride, but the airtime and laterals are a smidge weaker on most elements. Medusa Steel Coaster really reminds me of Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park. Both rides have spectacular pacing and don't have as many traditional airtime hills as other RMCs. They still eject you from your seat several times, but they tend to do it while you're also turning, and they each have a series of nice inversions mixed in as well. Is Medusa the best coaster in all of Mexico? It is very close, especially after my latest rides, but I still give the edge to Superman El Ultimo Escape just down the midway. But there's no denying this park is one of the best 1-2 punches in the world. So those are my thoughts on Medusa Steel Coaster at Six Flags Mexico. What are your thoughts on this RMC hybrid coaster? Have you had similar experiences to me? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.